as a Buddhist, I'm quite interested in meditation, and when I was meditating, I was quite interested in what it was in the environment which would support meditation. Now, meditation can be done, and mindfulness practice can be done in any environment. But there certainly for formal meditation and for certain mindfulness practices, it's useful to have that support from the soundscape as well. Our own posture and our own sense of bodily comfort can also affect how we can sink into particular meditative states of mind. So that was kind of where it started. It was that exploration of the soundscape and how that was affecting my own sense of own concentration. And from that, and what's been really interesting about this project is actually to take that out and to explore that with others. I think some of the sound walks have been quite contemplative, so I've run them in a particular way, which hopefully enables people to get into listening to the environment, rather than chatting and having a kind of very discursive way of approaching sound and thinking about what sound means, but really just listening and becoming slightly quieter and stiller. And from that, I think that's really helped the kind of sense of calm and relaxation, and it's led to some really, really interesting conversations after the sound walks as well about how they experience sound and what it means to them in their own lives. So yeah, it's been fascinating.
Focus our ears apart from our attention, so it's always very intrusive, it's always very intimate sound, whereas the visual, I can look at that face and almost everything else around it disappears, and you can keep that singular focus and that stillness visually, whereas you can't do that with sound, and it's a very social thing, sound, in that sense that you can't escape whether it's your own shoes. And I know being a field recordist, it's even heightened, so when someone coughs,
spent my whole working life in the visual realm and never really this kind of acoustic attention, and it's fascinating.
I think one thing that's really jumped out at me has been how giving people space, giving people quiet, a time to reflect and just to listen, so that soft focus on just listening has enabled people to go into a slightly different mode, different state of mind, and to allow them the space to reflect on their own lives and the sort of wider issues and wider perspective on their own lives. It's been really interesting how after sitting in silence, or at least focusing on the soundscape, people have talked to me about quite important issues in their lives. So things like stress, depression that they've been feeling, and feeling quite relaxed about chatting about those things.
I can process people talking and channeling sound to the same person, like a teacher. But if it's like two people here talking, people over here talking, that it completely overwhelms me. Yeah.
Quietness is a good thing. It's good because it's a time of meditation, and meditation isn't quiet times. It's a place where you're actually quiet and using your brain to connect.
I do like silence sometimes because it does make you feel like everything else just disappears.
There's very few places now you can be silent. There's always something you can always hear. I mean, obviously even out in the countryside. This is why I love the sea so much, because although it's very noisy, it's almost like background noise, and it just sort of blanks out all the other noise. It's like sort of what you call it, white noise.
It is lovely, even just visually, just because it is, unconventional, isn't it? But and it's push. Do you feel like it's pushing you in a different direction with a focus on sound? As kind of.
Yeah, I'm noticing sound much more.
Yeah.
Already, and seeing how I can incorporate it in my drawings.
Yeah.
The sketch itself is always a memory.
Yeah.
And then this is like a layer of another sense, memory of another sense.
Even if you can't really get a real sense of exactly what happens, it's not a description, but it is an essence of a space, I think, isn't it? That those kind of the lines, the sustained lines. You've got people here, and you said you've got the sounds going between them. There is a sense that you could read that in some quite relatively abstract way, but you could read it as a kind of score, couldn't you?
When you look at modern bricks, I think it's more of a mould injection process where they're much more uniform. And to me, the way that each of these is the same, but it's also like they're the same dimensions, but each one is completely different. Reminds me of knitted stitches, hand knitted stitches, because a machine will tension each stitch so that it's completely uniform. Whereas when you do it by hand, like you might just be in a bad mood when you do one row and it's all a bit tight, and each stitch will just have these tiny variations, just like each of these bricks. I just love that.
Some beautiful detail, sort of fossilised human activity in there as well, isn't it?
I interviewed people about their washing up, and what I really enjoyed was that everyone has a method for washing up, and everyone has a mood that they associate with washing up, even if it's like, oh God, I don't want to do this. You don't have to just reserve that for the art gallery. You can reserve that for I'm going to do the washing up, I'm going to have a special experience, I'm going to listen to it, I'm going to be present to it, or I'm going to go for a walk and I'm going to bring a special focus to it, and I'm going to just think about bricks, and I'm just going to see where that takes me. Maintenance tasks. It doesn't need to be done in a hurry. It's care work to make our environment more nurturing and good for us.
It's a beautiful thing when you say you can slow down and focus on it, so give it that attention. I think that's what I love about field recording, in that sense, there's a connection with the mundane every day, and that sense that those looking at the functional in a slightly different light makes it really engaging and quite calming.
It's been really important, I think, for people, and certainly through the feedback that I've got through this installation, is people have loved that that element of the installation which allows them to disconnect from the busyness, from the notifications, from the discussions, from the constant to-do list, and just enjoy listening to very mundane sounds often, but becoming absorbed in those, and that's been beautiful. It's been really beautiful to see.
The sound pieces are very much about everyday things that are around us all the time, and just presenting them to us in a different way, so we just sit and take notice and just think about. I was trying to identify, where is that? Is that the water at Town Lock? And is that rainfall? Where is it falling? Someone's sweeping the floor, and quite excited about trying to identify the sounds. So I'm a bit of a geek like that. But they're all sounds that you can experience every day, just presented to you in a different way. The same goes for the sculptural pieces, which are kind of found objects, everyday objects, and just just making you look at them and think maybe slightly differently about them. So for instance, there's a bathroom cabinet called Dawn Chorus, which has got some of the mirror is erased and there's some musical notation in there, and which I thought was a lovely juxtaposition. And I particularly liked the bench slats laid out a bit like a bed, with the little brass plaque inscription that says "Tiredness can kill, take a break," which is a good message for all of us. It's interesting in the context of a busy town centre to have a place where you're kind of voluntarily, but you're taking time out just to sit and listen to these strange sounds coming from all four corners. The surrounding sound is quite an interesting experience.
I think the sound walks have allowed me, and the installation have given me the opportunity to meet all sorts of people that I may not have chatted to about these things. And what's been lovely about this installation is that people, because of where we are in the Broad Street Mall, there's all sorts of people coming and going, doing the shopping, and they've come into the installation and given me their feedback and really taken part and enjoyed the experience. And I think quite a few of those people may not have normally visited a gallery or gone to a sound art performance. So it's quite interesting that I think it's been lovely to get those people that maybe wouldn't normally engage with this kind of sound installation. So I think what I'd like to do is really explore people's sense of silence. Certainly through the installation, what I've got from it is that people can enter sort of two states of mind. First of all, they can really enjoy thinking about what is that sound, where does it come from, and some of the sounds are quite difficult to pin down, so what am I listening to? On the other hand, you've got sounds where they can immediately identify, and they feel, generally I've got this sort of feeling that they're much more relaxed, and the feedback has suggested that once they've recognised what the sound is, they can sink into that sound and just enjoy listening to it. And so I think some of the future work is going to be around developing that side of the sound art practice, to try and encourage people to listen quite mindfully, to listen quite openly, with a relaxed and aware state of mind. It's kind of soft focus, and I think other things will come from that. But I think that'll be a very good starting point for future work.